Welcome back to another episode of Combat Talk. This is your host, Marco, and I'm solo dolo this week. Pedro's in Tijuana getting a sex change, so shout out to him for, following his dreams. But roll the intro. Anyways, welcome back. Another episode of Combat Talk. This is episode 51. And it's a big weekend. It's a big weekend for the UFC world. It's International Fight Week. Nothing really going on in the boxing world, so there's going to be strictly UFC talk on this episode. And boy, is it a big old card. Main event. The Mac is back. Conor McGregor taking on Blessed Max Holloway. Before that, man, this whole card, man, there's some fire-ass fights. Early prelims. I don't know. I mean, Ethan Ewing, I'm a big fan of him. He's caused some upsets. I don't know. He sent a message saying that not sent a message. He posted a video, and it's like he fucking texted me or something. Sent a video saying that he's out of his fight versus Basharat, undefeated guy. However, the fight's still showing, so I'm not sure what the hell's going on there. But okay. But next, man. Tracy Cortez is back versus Wayne Kong. We'll see. Wayne Kong is she's been on a little run. I think she's on a little 3-fight win streak so far. So she lost, I think, once in the UFC. Yep. Lost once in the UFC. Got submitted. So we'll see. Yeah, on her second fight in the UFC, she got submitted. And then Tracy Cortez, a fan favorite. Inside and outside the ring. Pedro's always looking out for her post. I don't know why. I guess he's just a real big fan of MMA. But yeah, we'll see what's up with Tracy Cortez. She has been, I don't know, lost her last fight. She got subbed bad by Blatchfield. However, Blatchfield is a dog. So we'll see. The one before that via decision, and then loss versus Rose. I saw that one here in Atlanta, actually. I think. And then, yeah, I did. Did I? No, I didn't. I don't fucking know what the fuck I'm talking about. And then, yeah, decisions. So, I don't know. Well, I don't know, man. I think Pedro will be mad at me if I go against Tracy Cortez, but I kind of have that Wang is going to take this one. Wayne Kong. Next, on the prelims, Cody Gambrat versus Adrian Yanez. That should be a fun little fight. Should be pretty violent. We'll see. But I'm gonna give it to Gamrot. I think he just has more in his tool belt. Giannis, he hasn't fought in a while, I believe. Oh no, March. So, and then drew on that, lost before that, won before that, lost. So I'm gonna go with Gamrot as long as he doesn't. Garbrandt, as long as he doesn't gas out. But Cody Garbrandt does great first, second rounds, and then first round, then usually just falls off the deep end. So we'll see. One fight that I'm interested to see is this, and I've never really seen him fight that much, is that Luke Riley. I think I've seen him fight once. British dude, very promising. Yeah. I saw his last fight versus Michael Aswell. So we'll see. He's taking on Kamaka. Kamaka. Um. So I don't know, man. Should be. I'm excited to see that. See how Luke Riley keeps doing. But moving on from him, wait. Oh, Kamaka, this is only his second fight. So I don't know. I'm side with Luke Riley on that one. But maybe I don't know Maul. I don't know Ball and Kamaka can surprise everybody. Next, we have a UFC debut. We have Gable Stevenson versus Alicia Ellison. For the people that know, Gable Stevenson, great wrestler. I mean, Lord knows how many things he's won wrestling. Very promising guy. And is under the wing of John Jones. So, a lot of promising. Yeah, a lot of what could happen. You know, this guy's supposed to take on the role that John Jones left behind, I guess, going into heavyweight. Very, yeah. There's a lot of expectations on this kid, on Gable. So, will he live up to the hype? I don't know. I hope so. Seems like a cool guy. But his MMA, he just mauls people. He also did dirty boxing, so he's trying to get as much rounds as he can, I guess, on there. But it's interesting to see a guy come in there, the way that he does, with so much hype behind him, so much expectations, especially in heavyweight. Man, you get 2-3 good wins, you're up there in the talks for a title shot, just because the talent pool isn't that deep. And we'll see how he does. And yeah, based off of him, we could see some big names coming in front of him soon. Next, we have Nikita Krylov versus Robert Whittaker. Bobby Knuckles, he's back. After, I believe he hasn't fought since that he broke his jaw versus Kamzat, if I'm right. Give me 1 minute, let me confirm that for y'all. Oh no, I forgot. He fought RDR and he got subbed by him too. So we'll see. However, Keita's coming off a win, but 2 losses before that. I don't know. I'm sided with Bobby Knuckles on that one. I mean, however, Nikita, he's definitely more of a grappler. So we'll see with Robert Whittaker. I mean, being subbed on his last 2 could be a problem. Hopefully, he had a good camp and he's able to stop any takedown attempts from Nikita. But I'm excited with my boy Bobby, man. I want him to start feeding them to the dogs. I want him to still have a name for himself, not just be a gatekeeper. So money on Robert Whittaker. Next, man. This one's gonna be fun. King Ring versus Terrence McKinney, man. That's gonna be fun. Both of these guys, violence, but in very different ways. Both aggressive, looking to throw down. But, I mean, King Green is King Green, right? Hands down, talking his shit, crazy punches, you don't expect it. He fought, what's his name, Bahamundez, I believe, last. And really, gave him hell. No, not Bahamundez, Zulherber, but he fought Zulherber. But he also fought Jeremy Stevens, but yeah, he subbed him. But no, that Zulherberg fight, I was very impressed with with Bobby Green, King Ring. So how about McKinney, man? McKinney's good too. Again, a lot of violence, yet a little more calculated. He's coming off a knockout win and a loss before that. So I'm expecting them to throw hands. I'm expecting them. I could see a knockout here. I could see a knockout or just, ground and pound stoppage. However, you have King Ring at 39 still fighting. And McKinney's 31. So, I mean, McKinney has the age on his side, has the reach on his side. So, I don't know. I think there's going to be a knockout. I'm going to side with my boy McKinney on this, but I'm not mad if King Green wins. But I think he just might be able to find a moment, especially maybe in that late second round, third round. Next, Raw Dog Brandon Royval versus Lonir Kavanagh. So we all know Brandon Royval. He's been doing this shit for a minute at flyweight. Obviously, a contender a couple years back, but recently lost to Cop and Van, who Van is current champ. And Cop and talks maybe soon for a title shot after a couple fights. But before that, he beat Tatsu Taira, who again just got a title shot. He beat Moreno, who again was a previous champ. And so you can't count Raw Dog Brandon Royval out. However, this kid, man, Lonir Kavanagh, he's a problem. He also beat Moreno almost with ease. I feel like Moreno had no success on the last fight, even though it went to decision. Just the whole time, Kavanagh teeing off. Before that, though, got clipped by Charles Johnson and knocked out bad from just a mistake by, exiting with your chin up, straight back, and he got caught. Before that, man, he's been on a run. Knockout win to join the UFC through Dana White's Contender Series, decision. So I could see this fight going the long run. I'm gonna be honest. Kavanagh doesn't have that strong, knockout one punch knockout power, but he accumulates. And I mean, Royval, he's got a chin on him. We saw the war that he went versus Van, so I don't know, man. This one's hard for me, just cause like my brain wants to say Kavanagh is gonna do he's gonna be able to pick Royval apart the whole fight, but I feel like Royval just needs one good moment. Maybe even mix it up a little bit, and try to grapple him, try to slow him down a little bit. And I think his resume is deep enough to do that, so I'm sure he's underdog on this one, but I'm going to take my boy Royval on that one. Also, man, he's Mexican-American. He's got to do it for Mexico because he lost to the British this weekend. But next, this is a hell of a fucking fight. My boy Mario Bautista taking on Corey Sandhagen. I like Mario Bautista a lot. He got a lot of shit from that Jose Aldo fight, but he's been, making his path brick by brick. I mean, he's been fighting everybody. His resume is deep, Only loss was to Umar Nurmagomedov, and it was, I mean, he gave Umar a little bit run for his money. It wasn't the easiest fight for Umar either. So, and before that, he just fought anybody that they put in front of him. Before that, he hasn't lost since 2021. He was on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 win streak. I think Batista mixes it up so well and has such a solid team. And he's so coachable, his team looks out for him and gives him really good advice. But Sandhagen, you can't count out Sandhagen. Sandhagen's been in the game for forever. Uh, I mean, he's coming off of a title shot versus Marab, which he lost. And before that, beat Figgy, but before that, lost to Umar. So, not counting the Marab, their most recent loss is to Umar. And, yeah. Also, Corey Sandhagen's been in the game for so long that his resume is stacked. So, to me, this is an underrated fight because they're both. Like, Corey Sandhagen has definitely a better resume just from how long he's been in it. But Mario Batista he's taken on anybody that's in front of him and doesn't really say much about it. He just goes in and does his job. So, it's going to be a hard one. I want Mario to win, but I'm not mad if Corey wins. But I just like how active Mario is. I like seeing fighters are that active. I just like it. I like that he takes on any fight. He takes every win with grace and every loss the same way. So I'm going to side with my boy Mario Batista on that one. I think he's really going to surprise people. I think he's going to find a way. I think especially with that team he's got, I think he's going to find a way to get Corey out of there or scratch that. Decision, Mario Batista, with the possibility of him subbing Corey, but very unlikely. But decision, Mario Batista. It's really going to surprise people. Next, this is a good fight, man. I think I'll be more interested about this fight maybe a year ago, but the fight is BSD, Benoit Saint Denis versus Paddy Pimblett. So, BSD, let's start with him coming off, 4 good wins, 2 subs. After that loss versus Moicano, really locked in. And then those 2 fights after that, he wrestler heavy. But then his last 2 fights took on old man Dariush, my boy, and knocked him out. I think that was I think Dariush went in there with a terrible game plan and even worse defense and got clipped, and the chin isn't there. So I'm not discounting his BST's win, but yeah, Dariush is real chinny. Hooker, and then took on Dan Hooker, who, I don't know, man. Dan Hooker is one of those dudes, I don't know. He's a fan favorite. I love to watch him fight. He always puts on a thing, but sometimes just doesn't have the best game plan, and but he made easy work of him. So I'm not discounting BSD on that one for sure. Big wins. And now he's taking on, like I said, Paddy Pimblett, who's coming off a brutal loss to the current champ, Gaethje. Now, for those that know, I mean, that Paddy Pimblett and Gaethje fight was like probably a contender for the fight of the year, and now Gaethje has another, if not, I mean, easily for me already, fight of the year versus Topuria. But that Paddy fight, man, that shit was brutal. I mean, Paddy says Scousers don't get knocked out, but damn, they come damn near, because the amount of times Gaethje dropped Paddy, he had him looking like he owed him money. I mean, face all fucked up. It was a brutal beating. So with that being said, a year ago, I would say give me Paddy Pimblett. But after a fight like that in January, and this seems like a quick turnaround. If the fight wasn't as brutal as it was, I'm like, okay, 6 months, I get it, right? I respect it. That's more than enough time. But a beating that bad from Gaethje, I think 6 months is a quick turnaround for Paddy. And like I said, Saint Denis has found success with his striking in his last 2 fights. So, and I feel like BSD's grappling is also a little underrated just because he's known to be such a violent and aggressive guy. So, I'm split on this one because I think this is, again, I wish this fight happened a year ago. I think it would have been a lot better, but I think I'm a side with BSD. He's been on his little run. He's fun to watch, but so is Patty. I think it's gonna be a really fun fight. I think this might be one of the funnest fights of the nights. I think they're both gonna sit there and really bang it out, and I think we could see a little bit of wrestling going on, but eventually they're both gonna find their way back up and keep banging it out. And I think it's gonna be a back and forth like that until the end of the fight. However, again, I would take BSD just because that beating that Petty took from Gaethje. I don't know, man. I be telling people sometimes when I see a fighter take a beating, like a real bad beating, I'm like, man, take a year off. Like, Patty's got nothing to prove right now. You know, put on a hell of a fight with Gaethje. Now Gaethje goes and beats the hell out of Topuria, which makes you low-key look better. Because when Gaethje beat Patty, I mean, everybody had, even though Gaethje's one of my favorite, I'm like, man, I think Patty might have it. You know, I thought Patty was going to use his ground game on Gaethje, right? Even though I wanted Gaethje to win, I'm like, man, probably Patty by submission. But that didn't happen, right? Instead, Patty gets a crazy ass whooping, and then Gaethje beats Topuria. Bad. Worse than he beat Patty. So now, after everybody's like, oh, I can't believe Petty got his ass whooped by Gaethje. Now, after the Topuria fight, people are like, oh, fuck. This motherfucker Gaethje's a problem. Which is crazy because, again, Gaethje's one of my favorite fighters. He's been one of my favorite fighters for a long time. The fact that they're just discrediting his career is fucking crazy to me. And now that people are seeing, like, damn, Gaethje's a problem, it aged better for Patty. But, like I said, because of that, you don't have to rush back and fight, you know? That gives you a little bit of grace, like, damn, this guy's a problem. Patty maybe isn't a fluke. You know, he took a year off to really recover from it, and now he's back better than ever. So, I don't know why Patty took this fight, especially versus someone as dangerous on the feet and on the ground as BSD. But, hey, you know, if Patty's able to do it, good on him. You know, I think that keeps him up there in as a top contender at that division. I'll tell you what, put my money on this now. This is the middle of the year. If Patty wins, which, again, this is a quick turnaround, which is crazy, because Patty has had slower turnarounds when he gets no damage, like when he took on Michael Chandler, I believe. I think it took him longer to come back from that, but still, you know, we all know Patty hasn't been the most active fighter, especially when he was doing that thing where he would really, you know, blow up and wait and then try to come back down when he's in camp. And so if Patty decides to really take some time, if Patty wins and decides to take some time off, maybe even up to a year off, like he's done before, I could see him and Topuria happening. Just because it puts Patty up there again. You know, he lost to Gaethje. They both lost to Gaethje. So the two guys that lost to Gaethje, why not? The beef is there with Patty and Topuria. I think it's a great comeback fight for Topuria because why not beat up Patty, right? This guy talked shit about you. You both lost to the same guys, but hey, I can whoop your ass. That's a great look on Topuria. And the vice versa for Patty, it's like, yeah, I got my ass whooped by Gaethje too. However, I came back, beat PSD, and now I beat you. Like I said, the beef is there. I think this fight makes numbers. Again, if Patty wins. However, if BSD wins, man, I don't know. I don't know what's... BSD is so weird to me because he gets some of the most weirdest fights, like the most unexpected fights. Then I'm like, oh, shit, I didn't expect him to fight that guy. And I guess that's good and bad because I mean that means he's active, but also it's like, what direction are you going? I don't think him winning puts him up there for his title shot anytime soon, especially with well, what the next fight is, what the main event is, but maybe a BMF chance. I wouldn't be mad about that. Um, maybe same thing too. If he wants to maybe take on Topuria when Topuria's back. Um, yeah, it's an interesting fight. I would love to see how this unfolds. But again, at the end, to wrap this fight up, BSD via knockout, second round. But the main event, honestly, why everybody's showing up. I mean, probably people I haven't seen UFC in years are probably going to tune into this. The Mac is back. Conor McGregor. I mean, the face. As much as people hate to admit it, the face of MMA still. Coming in to take on Max Holloway. A freaking fan favorite, you know? Someone that, again, from his performances, from his activity, as he became a fan favorite. But Conor McGregor coming back after, how many years are we talking about here? Since 21. So after 5 years, July. So almost damn near exactly on the dot by one day. 5 years since he last fought. We all know what happened. Broke his leg versus Poirier, right? After trying to rematch him. Poirier knocked him out cold. Shit, man. I'm hyped for this. You know, I'm not. It's like I'm a McGregor fan for what he did for the sport. It's, you can't deny that he brought so many eyes to the sport. You know, he's such a fucking character. I think even outside of just MMA, I think combat sports, one of the best talkers. You know, a dude that went beyond the fight game, and yeah, changed it up for everybody. So it's hard not to like McGregor in that sense. Now, don't get me wrong, not a fan of the shit that he be up to outside of outside of the octagon. Don't condone any of that. However, seems to be that he turned a stone, I guess, turned a leaf or whatever the saying is. Found God. Seems to be focused for this comeback. Very anticipated comeback. You know, we would have all thought it was with Michael Chandler after, 50 call outs from Michael Chandler, but I feel terrible for Michael Chandler on that because Max Holloway is getting the red panty night. But again, Max Holloway, man, how do you not like? If someone dislikes Max Holloway, they have problems. I'm gonna be honest with you, because it doesn't make any sense. How can you dislike Max Holloway? Again, a dude that's been in the UFC forever, right? Since a kid, right? Built his whole career brick by brick, taking on everybody, fighting everybody, putting on exciting fights, knocked out in a brutal way my boy Gaethje too, which is also why a lot of people counted out Gaethje, because if you get knocked out that bad, they're going to count you out. So to do that, put on a hell of a fucking fight. Since that, I mean, has taken on nothing but big names. I mean, again, another... I mean, the resume is insane on this guy, if we're being honest. Very few people... Yeah, very few people whose resume matches this. Been in the UFC since 2012, right? Is that 14 years in the UFC? Debuts versus Poirier, loses. However, got his shit back not too long ago, in July 25. But man, look at this resume. Charles Oliveira lost recently versus, well, he lost to Charles Oliveira, lost to BMF, beat Dustin Poirier before, lost versus Ilya Topuria, okay, beat Gaethje, beat Sung Jung, beat Arnold Allen, lost to Volk, beat Yair, beat Qatar, lost to Volk twice, beat Frankie Edgar, lost to Poirier there again. Oh, they fought twice. I mean, they fought 2 other times, so that was a third. Interesting. I didn't know that one. And before that, man, just Ortega beat Jose Aldo, Anthony Perez, Ricardo Lamas, Jeremy Stevens, Charles Oliveira. Oh, that's when Charles Oliveira. Yeah. Cubs. Damn. What a fucking resume. But let's not forget, took on Conor McGregor in 2013. Lost to Conor McGregor via unanimous decision. So this is his chance to get that rematch. To get that win, I mean. To make it 1-1. This one, I mean, I feel like everybody's has to side with Max Holloway. I feel like there's gonna be maybe big numbers on Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor. You might have some of the guys that don't follow the sport that much, but I mean, should be a win, an easy win for Max Holloway on paper. However, and I'll stand on this, maybe just because I've seen the whole Conor McGregor run, man, but Conor McGregor still has that aura, that, that little, he still get a little, I don't know, what would you call it? Like, there's just a little speck in there that you're like, man, if someone can make a comeback, it's Conor McGregor. But again, I think that's just the aura that he carries. It's just, the confidence. I've seen this dude talk recently, and you're like, fuck, man, is the Mac back? But, because, I mean, and let's be honest, Prime McGregor, before fucking the drugs, the money, and all that, man, you look at those interviews. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, every now and then I watch those early McGregor interviews, and you're like, man, what the fuck? This guy gets you hyped, Even when he's like partying is bad for the soul or something like that. It's poison to the soul. I'm like, damn, early Mac, early McGregor. It was different times back then. So maybe, I'm going down memory lane, and I'm like, man, maybe he can do it. But I also don't want him to do it because it's Max Holloway. So there's another fight where I'm split. I think as of right now, not as of right. I think overall, I'm more of a Max Holloway fan. However, there's something about like the story of McGregor's career not being over yet that makes me want him to win, just because that story isn't done, right? Because as I said with the previous fight with BSD and Patty, man, okay, also keynote, this fight's at 170, so a little strange, but besides that, man, they're both supposed to be at 155. So I think if BSD beats Patty, shit, I don't know. What the fuck? Where I was trying to go with this? I could see BSD fighting one of these guys, to be honest. Just throws a monkey wrench in there. Especially if, Max Holloway wins. However, if McGregor wins, I think, and I hate to say it because I don't fully agree with it, he could be in talks for a title shot versus Gaethje. I'm not saying I'm supporting that. If it does happen, it's the biggest case of Dana privilege, as they say. But at the end of the day, they're trying to make numbers. They're trying to sell tickets. They're trying to bring in eyes. Until this day, no one brings in eyes like Conor McGregor. And you have Gaethje, who put on that performance at the White House. All eyes on Gaethje. If Conor is to win, I could see Conor, Gaethje for the title shot fuck everybody else. I'm not saying fuck everybody else. I'm saying the UFC is going to say fuck everybody else in line. Conor McGregor title shot. So, and if that does happen, I don't know. It gives me, maybe it's a little stupid of me, right? A little, I'm sure the purists will disagree, but I don't know, man. I look, you would like to see that. Just, I think Gaethje deserves it too. Get a Conor fight. I mean, Gaethje retires off of that. Very winnable for Gaethje. You know, that's maybe why I'm also a little biased on that, because I do want to see, Gaethje sail off into the sunset with his pockets full, and that would happen if he fights Conor. But same thing, man. If Max wins, good argument for Max to take on Gaethje. Gaethje did mention he wants to get that back, that loss from UFC 300 when Max Holloway brutally knocked him out. So again, this is a fun fight just because it sets kind of a domino effect in the lightweight division. And yeah, what a fucking monkey wrench is thrown into the lightweight division with Conor being back. But like I said, my final prediction, Max Holloway, knockout. Especially at 170, man. I don't know. Let's not forget, Conor McGregor is 5'9". Max Holloway is 5'11". I think that funny enough though, listen to this shit. Reach from Conor McGregor, 74 inches. Reach from Max Holloway, 69. That's insane. This dude is, 2 inches taller, but has 5-inch less? Crazy. But I just think that 170, I think McGregor gets tired in the later rounds. I just couldn't see his cardio being any better than it was when he was actually active. I can't see it being any better at 170 with all that extra weight on him. I can't see him being any better, with 5 years out of the ring. So, I think Max Holloway is going to get a knockout. Later round knockout. Yeah. Third round, fourth round knockout. Third round. I don't know. I don't know if it's making to that fourth round. But, yeah, Max Holloway. Happy for him, too. I mean, this is a great night for Max Holloway. Like I said, red panty night. So, he's definitely going to celebrate, win or lose. And then, we'll see. Does McGregor retire after this fight if he loses? Because, I don't know. If he does lose, who else would we want Conor to fight? I feel like the fans might, the actual people that followed it, might want him to fight Michael Chandler. Because the storyline is there. But at the same time, do we really? Especially with Chandler's last performances and Conor's last performances. Is it just a battle of the unks? Who else? Yeah. Poirier's out. Retired maybe. Hey. Just saying. Shout out to my boy Poirier. Saw what happened in the airport. He's still with the shits. Hope he's doing well, but maybe we could see a Poirier come back. Question mark? Doubt it, because he made it pretty set in stone that he's retired. But maybe, we would want to see that, right? That second fight, Conor McGregor, was a fluke. Poirier says he checked that kick. Conor McGregor said there's no fucking check. Leaves it up in the air. on paper they're 2-0, but could be one and one's questionable. So again, I think that's if Conor loses. Maybe there could be an invite for Poirier to come back if Conor wants to keep fighting, but I just don't see that fire under him. I forgot who said it, but they say, was it Silk Sheets? I forgot what they're saying. I think it's a boxer that said it. But yeah, when you have Silk Sheets, it's hard to train or something like that. Don't quote. I don't know the exact verbiage, and if I did it and who said it, I'll give them credit. But yeah, you have Silk Sheets, it's hard to get out of your bed to go train. And McGregor's had Silk Sheets for some while now. And ever since he started getting them Silk Sheets, we saw a decline. So I just can't see him being any better. But again, if someone could do it, I guess it's McGregor. But who knows? I think Max Holloway actually has nothing to lose on this fight. And Conor McGregor has everything to lose in this fight. And usually in a scenario like this where someone's been, not active for so long, fighting someone that has been active and has been competing for belts in the highest level, it's usually more on the guy that's been active, right? Because they're like, oh, well, he's active, he should beat the... And they give a little bit of grace to the guy that hasn't been active. But, like I said, what's left for Conor if he loses, Just petty fights that they give him, just to keep him, just to milk him a little longer. Because at the end of the day, like it or not, Conor McGregor is just a name in the roster of the UFC. The UFC makes it very, very obvious, with other fighters. When they're on the tail end and they just need a younger guy to have a big name on the resume and bring in some eyes. And like it or not, could Conor McGregor turn into that person? He's just a gatekeeper? That'd be crazy. I doubt it. I think McGregor would rather just dip out. But like I said, if he loses, could be one of those situations. But if he wins, quote me on this, title shot. I don't agree with it, but I'm here for it. But with that being said, International Fight Week. Honestly, this is the type of card that you tune in from the very beginning, from the early prelims, because that's what the fuck I'm going to do. Because, some of the fights I mentioned seem interesting, and even ones that don't seem interesting. When you're on when a lot of these fighters are on a platform and a card this big, they show out. This is a great card, especially on a McGregor card. People are going to show out, so best believe you should tune in from the very beginning to the very end, because this should be one of the best all-around cards of the year. So, with that being said, thanks for listening. This has been Combat Talk. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you again next week to, with the recap to see what the fuck, if I landed on some of these, if I didn't, and then we'll see what's next. See y'all.